Imagine standing on a windswept savanna 3.3 million years ago, where the air hums with the buzz of insects and the distant roars of predators. Your hands grip a jagged stone, its edge freshly chipped to slice through the tough hide of a fallen antelope. This is no ordinary rock. It's the spark of ingenuity, the dawn of a revolution that would carve humanity's path through millions of years. Welcome to the Stone Age, the longest chapter in our story, where every strike of stone against stone echoed into the foundations of our modern world. Buckle up, because today we're diving into over 3 million years of grit, survival, and innovation in a journey that will leave you awestruck at how far we've come and how much we owe to those ancient hands that shaped the first tools. Picture a rugged landscape in northern Kenya, where the earth is cracked under a relentless sun. It's 3.3 million years ago, and a small, ape-like creature, perhaps an Australopithecus or Kenyanthropus, kneels beside a riverbed, striking one stone against another. The result? A sharp flake, crude but effective, used to scrape meat from bone or split open tough plant fibers. These 150 artifacts, chopping cores, flakes, and anvils, found in Lemekwi, Kenya, mark the earliest known evidence of modified stone tools. Unlike the rocks used by chimpanzees or capuchin monkeys, these tools were deliberately crafted, a testament to a mind capable of planning and problem-solving. Why does this matter? These tools weren't just about survival. They were a leap in cognitive evolution. Crafting a sharp edge required foresight, dexterity, and an understanding of cause and effect. Imagine the trial and error. Countless stones shattered before one held the perfect edge. This wasn't just tool-making, it was the birth of innovation, a spark that would ignite a fire of progress burning for millions of years. Unlike the original narrative's brief mention, let's linger here. These early hominins, not yet Homo, were already reshaping their world, setting the stage for everything from spears to skyscrapers. But stone tool use didn't become widespread overnight. For hundreds of thousands of years, these early experiments were sporadic, limited to small groups. By 2.9 million years ago, a new technique emerged, the Oldowan tradition. Hominins learned to knock flakes off a cobble to create a chopping edge, simple yet versatile. By 2.4 million years ago, these tools spread across East and Southern Africa, carried by early members of our genus, like Homo habilis. These short, bipedal hominins, with their ape-like features, weren't just surviving, they were thriving, using tools to process food and perhaps craft wooden spears. This wasn't just about cutting meat, it was about expanding diets, accessing new resources, and outsmarting competitors in a harsh world. Let's pause for analysis. The spread of Oldowan tools wasn't just a technological leap, it was a cultural one. Tools were likely shared within groups, passed from one generation to the next. Imagine a young Homo habilis watching an elder chip a stone, learning the angle, the force, the rhythm. This was the dawn of teaching, of culture, of knowledge transfer, concepts we take for granted today, but were revolutionary then. The original text mentions Homo habilis briefly, but let's expand. Their small stature belied a big brain, capable of adapting to diverse environments, from lush riverbanks to arid plains. Their tools were their ticket to survival, a bridge to the next chapter of human evolution. Fast forward to 2 million years ago, the African savanna is now home to Homo erectus, a game changer in human evolution. Taller, with long legs built for running and shoulders designed for throwing, they looked more like us than any hominin before. Their brains were larger, their tools more refined. The Acheulean tool industry, emerging around 1.8 million years ago, produced symmetrical hand axes, works of art as much as tools. These axes, found from Africa to England to China, were used to butcher meat, dig for roots, and shape wood. Imagine a Homo erectus hunter, axe in hand, carving a spear under the shade of an acacia tree, preparing for a hunt that would feed their group for days. But Homo erectus didn't just wield stone, they tamed fire. Evidence from sites like Wonderwork Cave in South Africa, dated to over 1 million years ago, shows charred bones and ash, signs of controlled fire. Fire wasn't just warmth, it was a game changer. Cooking made food easier to digest, unlocking more calories and fueling brain growth. Picture a group huddled around a flickering flame, sharing stories, or perhaps just grunts, while roasting a haunch of antelope. Fire was safety, community, a beacon in the dark. The original text notes this briefly, but let's dive deeper. Fire transformed social dynamics. It extended the day, allowing for planning, tool-making, and bonding. It made Homo erectus not just survivors, but masters of their environment. Homo erectus didn't stay put. They roamed from Africa to China, leaving tools and bones in their wake. Their sites are littered with remains of elephants, rhinos, and hippos, proof of their hunting prowess. They gathered fruits, tubers, and even caught catfish, showing a diet as varied as their range. But what drove their success? Adaptability. Unlike earlier hominins, Homo erectus could thrive in jungles, savannas, and coastal regions. Their tools and fire gave them an edge, but their curiosity pushed them to explore. Let's reflect. This wanderlust, this drive to push boundaries, is it not the same impulse that sent humans to the moon? The Stone Age wasn't just about survival. It was about daring to dream bigger. By 700,000 years ago, the world was a mosaic of hominin species. In Europe, Homo antecessor gave way to Homo heidelbergensis, a versatile hominin with a brain size rivaling ours. They crafted complex tools, including wooden spears shaped like modern javelins found in sites like Schoningen, Germany. These weren't just weapons, they were masterpieces of craftsmanship, balance for throwing at fleeing prey. Imagine a heidelbergensis hunter, spear in hand, tracking a deer through a misty forest. Their tools were precise, their strategies coordinated, a far cry from the crude flakes of their ancestors. By 300,000 years ago, the world was a hominin melting pot. In Africa, Homo sapiens emerged, alongside Homo naledi in South Africa. In Europe and Western Asia, Neanderthals thrived, while Denisovans and late-surviving Homo erectus populated Asia. Each species had its niche, its tools, its way of life. Neanderthals and Homo sapiens pioneered the Mousterian technology, creating sharp spear points and diverse toolkits. In Asia, hominins colonized islands, navigating treacherous waters with rafts or boats, a feat of ingenuity the original text only hints at. Let's explore this. Island colonization suggests planning, cooperation, and perhaps even language. These weren't just tools, they were passports to new worlds. What's fascinating is the diversity. Each species adapted to its environment, from icy European caves to humid Asian jungles. Neanderthals, for instance, were stocky, built for cold climates, their tools tailored for scraping hides and butchering game. Homo sapiens, leaner and more versatile, spread across varied terrains. This diversity wasn't just biological, it was cultural. Tools, hunting strategies, and even diets varied, reflecting a rich tapestry of prehistoric life. The original text lists these species, but let's add insight. This was a time of competition and coexistence, where ideas and genes mingled, shaping the human story. Around 100,000 years ago, something extraordinary happened. Hominins began to think beyond survival. In Blombos Cave, South Africa, Homo sapiens engraved rocks and used red ochre to create drawings, early art. In Kenya, burials appeared, suggesting belief in an afterlife. Neanderthals, too, showed complexity, using red ochre for pigment and crafting necklaces. In France's Bruniquel Cave, they arranged stalagmites in a circular structure, possibly a ritual site. These acts weren't just practical, they were symbolic, a sign of minds grappling with meaning, identity, and perhaps spirituality. Let's analyze. Symbolism is the root of culture. A red ochre line isn't just pigment, it's a story, a mark of identity. A burial isn't just a body in the ground, it's a farewell, a hope for something beyond. Neanderthals and Homo sapiens were closer than we often think, their minds as rich as ours. The original text mentions these briefly, but let's imagine the scene. A Neanderthal painting their face with ochre, preparing for a ritual under a starlit sky. This wasn't just survival, it was the birth of meaning, of art, of humanity itself. By 70,000 years ago, Homo sapiens began their great migration. From Africa, they moved into the Middle East, India, and Australia, adapting to deserts, jungles, and coasts. By 45,000 years ago, they reached southern Europe, coexisting with Neanderthals before replacing them by 40,000 years ago. In Asia, they hybridized with Denisovans and others, leaving traces in our DNA. This wasn't just migration, it was conquest, not through violence alone, but through adaptability and numbers. Homo sapiens thrived in larger groups, their tools and strategies evolving rapidly. Picture a sapiens band crossing a river, their stone-tipped spears gleaming. They weren't just hunters, they were storytellers, innovators, dreamers. Their art, cave paintings, carved figurines, told tales of hunts and spirits. Their tools, like the fine points of the Aurignacian culture, were deadly and precise. The original text covers this expansion, but let's add perspective. This was globalization's first wave. Ideas, tools, and genes flowed across continents, laying the groundwork for our interconnected world. Around 10,000 years ago, the Younger Dryas, a cold, dry period, forced change. In the Middle East, groups like the Natufians relied on wild grains, building stone structures in semi-permanent villages. This wasn't just survival, it was the seed of agriculture. Wheat, barley, and later animals were domesticated, spreading across Asia and Europe. In China, rice cultivation began. In the Americas, beans, tomatoes, and maize. Agriculture wasn't just about food, it was about stability, allowing specialized roles, potters, weavers, priests to emerge. Imagine a Natufian village at dawn, the air thick with the scent of baking bread. Stone tools still dominated, but copper was appearing, hammered into tools in places like the Great Lakes. By 7,500 years ago, smelted copper emerged in southern Europe, followed by bronze, a stronger alloy. This marked the Stone Age's end, though stone tools persisted in some regions, even mimicking bronze designs. The original text notes this transition, but let's reflect. Agriculture didn't just feed people, it built societies. It was the foundation of cities, writing, and modern life. To make this vivid, let's explore two stories inspired by archaeological evidence, grounding the Stone Age in relatable human experiences. The Lomekwi toolmaker. Imagine a young Australopithecus in Kenya 3.3 million years ago, learning to chip stones from their mother. One day, a sharp flake cuts too deep, drawing blood. But instead of frustration, the young toolmaker persists, creating a flake sharp enough to slice a fruit's tough skin. This moment, preserved in Lomekwi's artifacts, wasn't just about food. It was about pride, learning, and passing knowledge forward. It's a reminder that every innovation starts with a single determined hand. The Bruniquel ritual. In a French cave 176,000 years ago, a Neanderthal group hauls stalagmites into a circle, perhaps for a ceremony. Picture a young member, awed by the fire-lit shadows, placing a stone in the structure. Was it worship? Mourning? We don't know, but it's a human moment, people seeking meaning in a brutal world. This story, drawn from Bruniquel Cave, shows that even in prehistory, we wrestled with life's big questions. These stories aren't just relics, they're mirrors. Like us, these hominins faced challenges, learned from failure, and sought connection. Their tools and rituals were their legacy, shaping our world in ways we're only beginning to understand. Stone tools haven't vanished. Obsidian, sharper than any metal, is used in modern surgeries, cutting cells with precision. Flint knapping, the art of shaping stone, is practiced by enthusiasts, keeping ancient skills alive. The Stone Age isn't a distant past, it's a living legacy, etched in our genes, our tools, our drive to create. The Stone Age wasn't just a time of rocks and survival, it was the crucible where humanity was forged. From the first chipped flake to the first village, every step was a testament to resilience, ingenuity, and connection. The lesson? No matter how vast the challenge, be it a predator, a frozen tundra, or a blank stone, humanity finds a way. We chip away, we adapt, we create, As you go about your day, think of those ancient hands striking stone against stone. Their spark lives in you, urging you to shape your own world, one bold step at a time. Stay curious, and I'll see you in the next journey through time.